So there I was, unemployed, still with $140,000 in mortgage debt, and I had just left my job. But strangely enough, that turned out to be the best financial decision I ever made. I semi-retired at 50, not because I earned more money than everyone else, but because I finally understood something about money that most of us never really figure out. And strangely enough, the moment that changed everything happened while I was standing on a scissor lift, working in a ceiling, fixing lights. But it took me almost 30 years of mistakes to get there. Just before my 50th birthday, I had a terrible realization. Unless I made a big change, I was going to spend the rest of my life slaving in a career I didn't really even like. By many standards, I had a good job working as an electrician. It paid quite well. I had all the things I thought I wanted, but somehow I was still chasing my tail. And it took me until 50 to realise the mistakes I had made. Like many of us, I struggled with conformity growing up, so I left school early. Both my parents had gone through university. My father was a corporate lawyer, but he was not so good with money. We were comfortable, but never really wealthy. Hard work was valued in my family, but financial education simply didn't exist. I'm curious actually, did anyone else grow up without any financial education at all? Let me know in the comments. I'd like to know your experience. When I started working as a teenager, I did what many of us do. I borrowed to buy a car, I took store credit for things like stereos and TVs, and I spent my hard-earned money on anything that I thought made my life feel better. I was paying everyone else first, and I paid myself last. At the time I thought this was normal, buying stuff, borrowing against the future, because back then my only real asset was my capacity to work. So the cycle repeated itself. Earn, borrow, spend, and the cycle followed me through my entire 20s. I never even considered there might be another way. But when I entered my 30s, I started noticing something. Wealthy people seemed to be buying assets, and the big one was property. So I took my first mortgage and invested in my first property. After work and on most weekends, I spent time renovating it. 8 months later, I sold it and nearly doubled my money. This was in the year 2000, when property markets were beginning a major boom, spurred on by new multinational free trade agreements. I thought I had cracked the code, but my structure was wrong. I thought I was rich, but I was foolish. So I bought my dream car, a classic Holden Monaro. Then I did another renovation and another. Suddenly I had profits, but instead of building wealth, I upgraded my lifestyle. More expensive cars, custom motorcycles, boats, speedway racing, a motorcycle trip around the equator, adventure and lifestyle upgrades, consumption. And somehow I was still no better off. Obvious in hindsight. But eventually I noticed something interesting. Most people were following the exact same pattern. Earn more, spend more, upgrade everything. I could take a month off work if I wanted, but after that the money would run out and I'd be back on the tools again. I was still trapped in the same cycle. Years passed. I built 2 properties. I converted an old factory into residential units. I was earning good money, more than before, but I never felt ahead. I worked harder, I earned more, yet my lifestyle kept me stuck. Eventually, I realised something uncomfortable. I was living by someone else's rules, working endlessly to support a consumption lifestyle, not real wealth. So I started looking for another way. I knew I needed my money working for me. Unfortunately, my next decisions weren't exactly brilliant. I attempted a property subdivision that included a road. I purchased a furniture shop. I even funded an R&B band. Concepts I knew absolutely nothing about. It wasn't investing. I was chasing fast money. I lost heaps of capital. Looking back, it was basically gambling. I might as well have thrown money on horse racing. But the real turning point didn't happen when I made money. It happened the day I realised why I kept losing it. I was at work one day, up on that scissor lift that I mentioned earlier, and I had my epiphany. I had only one life, and the way forward was commitment. Like Caesar burning his ships when he landed in Britain, there was no retreat, there was no plan B. If I truly wanted freedom, I had to take action. So I handed in my notice and quit my job. My goal had always been to semi-retire by 50, and if I couldn't keep my word to myself, what would that teach me? So now, there I was, unemployed, with that 140k in mortgage debt. But when I make a plan, I commit. By now it had finally clicked. The order of money matters more than the amount of money. People who were financially comfortable weren't spending first and investing later. They were doing the opposite. They invested first. They got their capital working, and then they only skimmed a small percentage off the top. Enough to live on while the capital kept growing. So I started simplifying my life. I sold most of my toys, the boat, the bikes, the car collection. Honestly, I was tired of maintaining them anyway, servicing them, cleaning them, fixing them. But by now I had realised something uncomfortable. Those toys weren't really the reward. They were an escape from the stress of working so hard to afford them. But there was still more to do. Quitting my job forced me to follow through with the next big step. I put my house on the market. It sold quickly. Then I bought a much smaller house in the same suburb. Less maintenance, but still comfortable. That decision eliminated my mortgage debt and left me with surplus cash. Next, I purchased a managed Airbnb duplex in a heritage building in a regional city. It doesn't produce as much income as my electrician job did, but because my debts are gone, it's enough. Enough to slow down, enough to breathe. Interestingly, the strategy I eventually discovered on my own was very similar to what Dave Ramsey teaches. Buy cash-producing assets, not cash-stealing assets, and when you can, pay cash for them. Everything I had done before that point was basically a distraction. If I had found a teacher earlier in life, I probably could have retired 20 years sooner. But I still had one more move to make. I converted my superannuation into a self-managed super fund. There wasn't a huge amount in there, but it was enough to purchase an old commercial shed in another regional town. I converted this into micro-storage units. Multiple tenants now rent those units, and my rents keep my super growing, even though I'm not earning a wage. These days I understand something I wish I had learned much earlier. For 30 years I made one simple mistake. I spent first and invested what was left. Wealthy people do the opposite. They invest first and spend what's left. Life gets a lot easier when your money works harder than you do. But these days my life is determined by how well my investments perform, not how hard I work. I spend what my money earns, not what I earn. Yes, it means I've had to curb my wants, but in exchange I've gained something far more valuable. Time to relax, time to keep bees, time to learn guitar, time to study options trading and dollar cost averaging into dividend ETFs, and time to experiment with side hustles. If you're chasing money but still feel stuck, maybe it's time to flip the order. Invest first, spend what's left. If this story resonated with you, like and subscribe. In future videos, I'll share the exact same financial play that now earns me more than $100 a minute. Thanks for watching. Stay hungry, stay focused. Over and out.